On this episode, we discuss Ella McCay.
I didn't realize I need to have a hot one queued up. Sorry.
You usually have such hot ones.
Usually you have the hottest ones, too. Yeah.
I got a smoker. Watch out.
Okay.
Get on your fucking oven mitts.
Okay. On this episode, we discuss Ella McCay.
By James Ella Brooks.
Pretty good. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Flophouse. I'm Dan McCoy.
I'm Stuart Wellington.
And I'm Elliot Kalin, not doing this bit because I've got stuff to promote. I've got an all-new comic book, Barbarian Behind Bars, on comic book shelves right now.
Now, you say it's on comic book shelves right now, but I'm looking over at my own comic book shelf, and I don't see it. So
that just shows me you're a bad friend.
Yeah.
I even though not even the first issue had been out, I pre-ordered the trade paperback.
Okay,
TBB.
Good. That's still counts. An order is an order.
It's the only way I read comics.
Wait, the first floppy issue is already out.
The first floppy issue of Barbarian Behind Bars is already out. What happens when a barbarian from a fantasy world ends up on Earth and gets thrown in the slammer?
I gotta head to my local comic book shop and wade through a pile of manga and figurines, and then get to the back of the store where I'll request that specific comic book.
They should clean up that manga spill. That's been there for so long.
Oh, it's so hard because the birds get it stuck to their feathers, and then they can't fly. And they tried a junk shot to stop the manga leak, but it hasn't. Do you remember that years ago when the Deep Horizon was still leaking oil, and they're like, well, what if we fill it with crap? They just tried to fill it with garbage to stop the leak, and that didn't work.
That help though? I
think it helped a little bit, maybe, but it was not. It was not the Hail Mary success that they hoped it would be. It didn't stop until the Earth ran out of oil.
Well, this isn't a disasters of the past podcast. It's
a disasters of cinema present podcast.
We're a podcast where we watch a bad movie, then we talk about it, or a movie that has been purported to be bad. We don't know. We don't know ahead of time.
Sometimes it's a movie that means well. It's hard. It is in its right place. But God bless them.
Sometimes we get a little whiff of a stinker and we follow our nose to the local Cineplex.
I mean, we don't even have a choice. The scent sticks its fingers into our nose and pulls us along, floating through the air.
And we float along, toes curled, fingers tingling.
Not to tip our hands a little, or at least my own hand beforehand, but
because you have a glass of water in that hand and it'll spill everywhere when you tip it.
This is a movie I do feel a little bad about covering, just because it's like, we don't get these kinds of movies anymore, and it does have its heart in the right place, and like it's not like I, spoiler, hated it or anything. It's just but it was a large flop. It was a movie that did not do well.
Yeah, they don't make movies
level.
For aunts and uncles anymore.
No, it is. I think we can hold two opposing thoughts in our head, which is that, or two complicated thoughts in our heads. Which is one is I would like to see them make more movies like this, but also this is not a good version of one of those movies. It does not is not successful at being the kind of movie that I wish they made more of, and which James L. Brooks, the writer-director, has made several of, So it is no slam on James L. Brooks to say, spoiler alert, this is not his best work.
No. A man who made broadcast news maybe a perfect movie.
Yeah, in terms of endearment, it's a wonderful movie. Even as good as it gets, which is not quite as good as those, is a much better movie than this.
Doesn't live up to its title, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
This is more on the Spanglish end of the pool,
Ouch.
So let's dive into that Spanglish pool party.
Nice pool. Yeah, Spanglish pool party. I think Trump has declared those against the law.
Dan just looked at me when he was saying that, and my blood ran cold, thinking I was supposed to do the summary, and I'm not.
No, I'm on summary duty today, so get ready, because here in California it is very summery. It's a blazing 81 degrees, whereas where you guys are, what is it, like negative 703 degrees?
It's actually okay now. We're back in the 40s, but we have, we did
So
have
everyone's
our
wearing
second
fedoras and smoking
blizzard of
cigarettes?
the
Yeah.
year recently. So.
Yeah,
You guys had a lot
we're
of
all
blizzards.
cool cats.
It's too bad you're not in Australia, because then it could be the Blizzard of Oz. But no, you're in New York City, so that pun would make no sense. So moving on to Ella McCay. This is something that everybody loves, a movie that gives the people making the trailers the opportunity to have a bunch of characters just repeat the main character's name because it's the title over and over again. As soon as I saw the commercial for this and you had a bunch of characters going, Ella McCay, I was like, I'm going to fucking hate this movie. Like, I don't like trailers where they do that,
So there have been good movies that are just the name of a character.
I don't mind when the title is the name of the character. I don't like it when the commercial has just cuts
Shrek?
together. I don't like it when the commercial just cuts together a bunch of people saying the name as if it's like the audience supposed to be like, this person must be famous. I got to see this.
I understand your objection. I understand your specific objection. But I do kind of think personally, this is just me, Dan. It's a little weird to name movies after like a character that like is not a character that we all know already. But there have been
but then there's
good
like
examples.
Jerry
of
Maguire, stuff like that.
Sure.
But
it does seem like a
Jay Kelly.
It seems like a pretty boring way to name a movie. Like, get a load of this. You can't wait till you meet this guy. You don't know what his deal is, but you're going to know soon.
That's true. You get a movie like Dodsworth, which is an amazing movie. It's a beautiful movie, but it's about a guy named Dodsworth. Sometimes I think it's because there are certain types of movies, and Ella McCay is trying to be one of those movies where I think it's hard to sum up the concept of the movie in a phrase, in a title. Like, for instance,
that was a problem that James L. Brooks had when writing the screenplay.
Yes, well,
what is it about?
He also had the problem of summing up what the movie's about in the story. But like a movie like Dodsworth, it's about an older man whose marriage is falling apart, and he goes to Europe and he finds new love again. Like, what are you going to call that? With this one, what would you call it, Dan? I guess you could call it Little Miss Nooner. That could be the title of the movie.
I'd probably get a better, audience.
Yeah.
If you got that.
I would. I feel like the tomato meter would be fucked up though, because all these people see it expecting one thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. It'd be the old Simpsons joke about going to see Naked Lunch. He goes, I can think of two things wrong with that title.
I think the movie should have been called Shenanigans in Rhode Island.
You think it's Rhode Island?
Okay.
I mean, the whole thing was shot in Rhode Island, and they don't specify, but it's got like a Rhode Island feel,
and they do mention ports
right?
at one point.
A Rhode Island feel, huh?
It does, that famous Rhode Island feel.
Well, the idea that she's like the lieutenant governor of a small state makes sense.
I mean, it especially makes sense because once she becomes governor, there's no like big things that she has to deal with almost immediately. But anyway, so let's start the movie. Let's talk about it. We start not with Ella McCay herself. We start with Julie Kavner. That's right, TV's Marge. Longtime James L. Brooks cohort.
Homie.
When James L. Brooks.
Perfect.
Wait, let's hear it again. Let's hear
it.
Perfect. Yeah. That's just. I thought is Julie Kavner here? Miss Kavner, thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Special guest, everybody.
Yeah, but all she says is homie. Yeah.
Getting scratchier and scratchier because she's getting up there in years.
Dan, so you're criticizing her for the time
No,
passing?
I'm just saying that, like, no, not at all. But like, her already famously scratchy voice is now, like a vinyl record you bought.
Yeah,
I love it though.
Fuzz of vinyl.
I've got Cav scratch fever, so I'm totally cool with it. Yeah. So Julie Kavner, she introduced herself as the narrator. She's someone who works for and loves Ella McCay. Who is Ella McCay? Well, let's go back to 2000.
Well, she adores her. That's what I know about.
She adores Ella McCay, and she assumes that you, the audience, I think, are also going to come to adore her. At the end, we can talk about whether we came to adore Ella McCay.
I mean, if anything's going to do it, it's Julie Kavner saying that she adores someone. I'm like, okay, I'll hear you out.
But I think I don't know about you guys. We'll get to it. I found Ella McCay as a character very off-putting. And I think it was as if it was almost as if
because she's a woman.
That's what it is. No, but there's this intense, honest forthrightness about her that I think needed a little bit more of an understanding from the movie about how off-putting that can be, And I think the other characters,
that the movie does understand it. Like, that's the whole point.
That's the thing. I felt like the other characters in the movie understood it, but I felt like the movie didn't understand it because the other characters in the movie would be like, you understand that people don't like you, Ella, but the movie kept presenting her as like, you love her. You fucking love her. She's amazing.
I am not going to say that this movie is successful, but I would suggest that the movie is trying to say, like, why do we hate people who are honest and forthright and passionate. Like, why?
Well, but I
is
think
that?
I think the thing is that, well, we'll get to it, I guess, but her character is forthright and not passionate, but she's also fairly oblivious to the people around her. She sees all of the world through the lens of what's important to her or her feelings. And I think that's what was really getting to me, is that I don't think she ever reckons with that, that she is imposing herself and her feelings on other characters throughout the movie, But anyway, flashback to 2008, because that's when the movie takes place. And Ella is the third youngest woman to be lieutenant governor of an unnamed state, which is quite an achievement, I guess. Then we flash back almost instantly to when she was 16 to find out about her family trauma. And
a little bit of whiplash here.
It's a little bit of whiplash, and not the fun whiplash where the guy's playing drums and J.K. Simmons is like, play those drums faster, asshole.
I guess that is fun. Yeah.
And it is confusing. We were doing a little texting about like how old everyone's supposed to be in this movie, and it is odd that like we flash back like a decade from 2008 or whatever it is, and Ellen McCay is still played by Emma Mackey.
It's confusing enough that the character and the actress have almost the same name. Yeah.
The only person played by a different actor is her younger brother, who's played by a younger actor.
Which I think was a
much
mistake.
younger. Oh, you think he should have played? You think the same actor should have played him in his 20s and also at 8?
Yes.
Well, I kind of agree. If like just in that like, if you're going to change one actor, change them all. Like, have someone play the younger Ellen McCay. It is so weird to have her flashback and be like, wait, Rebecca Hall's supposed to be her mom, who's 14 years older than her.
Yeah, well, and also it means that Woody Harrelson gets to wear unconvincing wigs both as a younger middle-aged man and as an old man. But I would say I think they should have had younger actor playing it instead.
Do you think Woody Harrelson made like the wig department mad on one of his movies, and now they're all like, "We're gonna fuck this dude up"?
Yeah, the hairdressers union has declared a fatwa against Woody Harrelson's image. And so whenever they're in a movie, he's like, well, time to go to my wig fitting. And they're like, oh, you're in for it this time. You know what you did to the world of wigs.
Yeah.
What do you think he did? What do you think he did to
I don't know. Like, I feel like he's pretty beloved,
I mean, that's why he starred in Beloved.
That was a weird casting. I don't agree with that.
He also co-wrote it. He didn't get credit, but he did co-write it.
Well, because he's big friends. He was close friends with Toni Morrison at the time, and he was like, "Tony, I want you to write a story for me." And again, it was strange casting, but
it's very odd.
Can't argue. You won the Academy Award for it, so you can't argue against it. So this is flashback when she's 16. Emmy Mackey plays the character in both. Her dad, Woody Harrelson, and her Aunt Helen, Jamie Lee Curtis, are there. She has a younger brother, and her mom, Rebecca Hall. And Ella, her dad is resigning from his job as a hospital administrator or something because of affairs that he had with his employees. And Ella is confronting her dad over this, and she refuses to go with him and stand by him and pretend that everything's okay. And she takes her brother Casey and literally brings him to the dictionary to read the definition of trauma to him. And the women in the family, they all side with Ella. Woody Harrelson goes off on his own to resign, leaving his wife, his sister, and his daughter there. 6 months later, whiplash, her mom is like, hey, we're moving to California for a fresh start. And Ella's like, but it'll ruin my education. And she goes, why do you stay with him, Mom? She goes, because I still love him. And Ella is so disappointed. And then her mom says, you can stay with Aunt Helen until you go to college. And she's equally upset about that. Like, she didn't want to move and she doesn't want to stay. They have a lot of tearful, heavy conversations.
Which is crazy because, I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is like locked in on like the aunt role.
Yes.
I believe it 1,000%.
Jamie Lee Curtis is really good in this. It's not a good part, but she's really good in it. And I will say that the only person, her only rival for loving and adoring Ella McCay is Julie Kavner. These two characters, like, she has two strong older women who are always in her corner. And, that's something to be said. And I think there was something about the way Ella talks and the way that Aunt Helen talks, which at times made me feel like James L. Brooks was trying to write almost kind of Wes Anderson-y type characters. There's Ella's like, you still love me, don't you, Aunt Helen? And Aunt Helen's like, ridiculously. And there's a part where Aunt Helen says to Woody Harrelson, like, I will never forgive you. I love you. If there's anything you need, call me. And that's a very kind of like Wes Anderson-y
I don't know. I think that James L. Brooks has been writing dialogue like that for years. It's just been in better movies.
Maybe. I don't think of him as sounding that kind of like cute or kind of like what's the word? Like coy is not the word I'm looking for, but like glib. there's a glibness to it that I don't associate with James L. Brooks, you know. But I don't know.
I think you misremember.
Maybe. But also, Helen looks at Ella's papers from school, and she smiles at the teacher's comment,
Helen
which says...
and Ella, that's crazy, right?
The what?
Is
yeah,
crazy,
that is
man.
crazy. That's Helen and Ella, yeah.
Man, those vowel sounds are so similar, man.
It's like
I'm
they
just
took.
saying.
It's like
Wild.
they took one name and put it inside another name. Because Helen is like Ella with an H and an N,
It's
and you
like-
could take the A and put an E in there instead, and
like-
remove one of the L's. But
Helen ate Ella.
Guys, feeling
wait,
seen
guys,
is
guys, have you heard the story about how 6 was afraid of 7? You're never going to believe what 7 did to 9. So
it
anyway,
feels good to be seen by you guys, you know, to be understood.
so Helen smiles. The teacher has written on Ella's report, "You can be a force for good," which feels like a very on the nose comment from a teacher on a paper.
Yes.
Anyway, we go back to 2008. There's a reporter pursuing Ella. We don't know why yet. Ella goes to the fundraising phone room where state legislators spend 7 hours a day away from the state capitol, just calling to raise funds for the party. And she sees Governor Bill, James L. Brooks' brother, Albert Brooks. I'm just kidding. They're not really related.
Also with a really cool wig.
He also has a great wig. I mean, Albert Brooks, also really good in this movie. Not a surprise. He's Albert Brooks. He's a genius, you know.
No, if there's one reason to see this movie, it's Albert Brooks. Unfortunately, I wish he was in more of it.
Yes.
I wish this was an Albert Brooks movie.
Now, and he also has a weird wig, and they're not really brothers. Albert Brooks' brother is, of course, the late Super Dave Osborne. He tells her, he goes, "I'm going to be appointed to the cabinet, Secretary of the Interior," which fights the idea that this is Rhode Island, because if you're going to appoint a governor, Secretary of the Interior, usually they come from a Western or Midwestern
swing state
a
of
large
some
state,
kind.
or a swing state. Rhode Island is essentially useless in the electoral college. When you're balancing your cabinet, you
Come
don't
at
usually
him,
put
Rhode Island.
well, unless he just represents the Northeast, you know, basically, or you know,
This
the
was
mid Northeast.
2008, dude, a different time.
That's true. It was a different
When
time.
Rhode Island was much bigger.
When Rhode Island was king. That's true. Before Rhode Island fought that war against California and lost all that territory.
Yeah, the reparations they had to pay, it was crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, he goes, "I'm going to be appointed to the cabinet. You're going to replace me as governor." But she knows she's got a problem. Uh-oh. She goes to Aunt Helen for help. She goes to Helen's bar/restaurant. So Stuart, you must have loved this, seeing that
My
she's a drinks and food saleswoman, mostly drinks, right?
Drinks and food saleswoman.
Yep, that's
She's like, "What do I have to do to get you into a burrito today? What do I have to say? Can I get it without cilantro?" "Oh, they put that into the factory. I'm so sorry."
ABC, always be chomping.
Is that what Glenn Ross starring Jabberjaw is about? So, unfortunately, her dad is there, and she gets really flustered. She does not want to see him.
No leads.
If only you gave us the Glengarry leads. We also meet her security detail, Kumail Nanjiani, as Nash, the guy who is her devoted bodyguard. That because her dad is at Ellen's, that means we get at Helen's, not Ellen's. I'm sorry. Ellen's would be By the Book, the bookstore that Ellen DeGeneres owned in the TV show Ellen. I apologize. This is Helen's. So Ella flashes back to her mom's funeral, and she's mad when one of the mourners is clearly
She's
someone.
mad because Rebecca Hall's not in the movie anymore.
I mean, I was mad that Rebecca Hall wasn't in the movie. She's like, "Sorry, I got to go talk to King Kong some more." And I'm like, "But you could do so much more than that."
Sorry, I have no patience for your wig options.
She goes, she's mad that one of her dad's lovers has come by to grieve, and Ella refuses to cry in front of everybody. She has her brother stand guard outside of her bedroom so she can cry inside, and then they cry together. It's a sad scene. And I think Helen might cry too. It's a lot of crying. So Ella goes to see her dad. It's awkward between them, and he goes, "I met another woman. She wants me to make amends with my kids," and Ella gets upset and storms out. And Ella reveals to her aunt what her secret is. What is the devastating secret that could sink her political career but it's barely even started? It turns out that she and her husband, Ryan, who you may know as River from Slow Horses.
Yay.
She and her husband, Ryan, they have a hard time finding time to be together, and they want to raise a family. So at lunchtime, she will meet him at a city-owned apartment, and they will have sex during lunch. And that's the scandal.
What's that called, Dan? That's called, what's that?
Well, in this case,
non-issue?
apparently it's misappropriation of funds because
public property, yeah.
They're using public property for a private matter. Now,
and also her name is in the Epstein files. We should mention that. That's the other problem, yeah.
Oh, God. Not Ellen McCay. She was the best of us.
Oh, no, she was.
No, I mean, the movie, to its credit, knows that this is not a big deal. It only becomes a big deal when River, the idiot husband, tries to cover it up. But, it is one of these cases where you see what you're talking about, Elliot, that Ella is so rigid that she's like freaking out over this non-issue.
Yeah.
Like makes it an issue for herself. But like, I got to get ahead of this. Like no one... no one would have known that it's misappropriation. To they would just been like, "Oh, okay, a married couple had sex."
Yeah,
oh, terrible.
And later in the movie, they're like, "Your poll numbers are up now that people know about it." But there's a reporter who's blackmailing her, saying that he wants special access to her, I guess, in exchange. Yeah. And she's like, "No, I refuse." When in reality, this seems like the easiest thing you could possibly do. It's like, "Yeah, I'll give you an interview, sure." But
so also, I think after this is revealed, she meets with her husband to talk about it. And there's a scene where it's just after they've had sex and they're lying in bed together. And she has like a really weird scarf tied around her neck. And I'm like, what is going on?
I have to assume it's just like in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the comics, where Mina always has a scarf around her neck to cover the scars from when Dracula bit her. And when she is having sex with Alan Quatermain, it comes loose and he sees how horribly she's been scarred by the Count.
Mm-hmm. She does seem like someone Dracula would bite.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. To seduce and corrupt a pure soul like hers, he would love that. He'd love that shit.
He would go crazy for it.
He'd totally get Ryan drunk and have him sign a contract that says in 3 days he gets his wife. Yeah.
Wow. Now, at this point, you may be asking yourself,
Ella McCay, your husband signed contract. His pizza place, and I get you. And she'd be like, "Well, Dracula, I don't think this contract's going to hold up in court. Oh, no, what am I going to do? This is hard for me, but I'm pushing through it. Okay, Dracula." Actually, now I wish that was the movie we were watching.
Well, this kind of ties into what I was going to say.
What an amazing movie this would have been if it's like, well, Ella, I'm going to be in the cabinet, so you're lieutenant governor now, but Dracula's in town. Oh, no, I'm going to have to deal with that. That would be great. I've just been governor for a day, and I've got to deal with Dracula.
That's a big deal in Rhode Island.
He has a lot of history with Rhode Island. Not all of it good. Let's just say that.
He came to America and was mad it wasn't an island. That was the first thing.
He was like, "What? This is very much part of the mainland. I have not been this lied to since I went to Greenland."
Oh, man, don't get him started. Don't put him in front of a fucking brick wall. We'll be here all night.
I have two drives that obsess me. One is corrupting the world so I can be returned to my true love who died centuries ago. I have swum oceans of time to find her. And the other is misidentification of geographical features.
And why is there a West Virginia when there is only a Virginia? Why does Virginia get to be Virginia, but West Virginia has to be West Virginia?
Well, Dracula, it has to do with the history.
Make it East Virginia.
Well, Dracula has to do with the history of that state during the Civil War. We can get into it. There is a very good reason. Dracula, now I'm just immortal and I can keep telling you about how West Virginia split from Virginia.
Oh no,
what have I done?
With this guy.
Oh no, yeah. No.
What a trip.
I have to. The judge said I have to be his butler for a month.
Sorry. The thing I wanted to mention a long time ago is the listener probably at this point is
in a galaxy
thinking to
far
themselves,
away. Yeah.
What is Ellen McCay about? I don't know.
Well, guess what, Dan? Because we're about to get a totally different storyline because Ella's brother Casey is not talking to her, and she has to figure that out. So she says, "I'm going to go to my brother's. We're going to skip the scene where Aunt Helen is mad at her dad because who cares?" On the way to Casey's apartment, Nash tries to talk to Ella about how his mom fell in a pool once, and it is a story that is totally pointless, but it makes Ella laugh. And it feels like the movie is trying very hard to hint at an emerging romance between these characters without actually having it happen. So it felt like the movie was edging me with the implication of possible romance, but never actually going into it.
At the end, without getting ahead of ourselves, Kumail ends up working the same place where Ella is working. And I guess we're supposed to infer maybe that they're, something's happening, but it is never expressed.
No.
Yeah.
So back at her office, Governor Bill says he's officially resigning. I'm going to be Secretary of the Interior. I have to deal with the fact that Dracula thinks this is an island and is real mad about it. So you're governor until the next election. And she says, hey, before you leave, I need you to get votes for this Aid for Expectant Mothers bill that I want to pass. It's the kind of bill that I think in 2008 was the kind of thing that a liberal Democrat would put a lot of stake into, is like, we need prenatal care and counseling for expectant mothers. Whereas now in 2026, the big issues for Democrats are how do we get a mad king off the throne of the country? How do we stop people from being shot in the streets by masked thugs? But in 2008, a simpler time.
And how do we complain about it in a way where we're not being like shrill or annoying?
Yeah, exactly. When they don't, well, let's not even get started that. So he tells her, he says, people find you annoying and you need to fix that. Your job is making dumb people not feel dumb. And if you want to get anything accomplished, you got to do that. And she goes out to greet reporters. The news is already broken. Her husband, Ryan, shows up and twirls her in the hallway. They dance a little bit. Her husband, it's set up here. She's very rigid. She's very noble, but in a way that is off-putting to people. And he is just kind of loosey-goosey, the fun guy in the relationship. Flashback to 17 years earlier. Glad we're flashing back again. Their high school significant others.
More
this
wigs.
Is like the most complex screenplay structure for just a simple dramedy.
It's like as if Memento was just about a dude. And like there was no stuff about memory loss. There was nothing about his wife possibly having been murdered. And it was just about a guy going about his day, but it was still cut up and down like it was the Limey, or something like that. So they flash back to Helen catching teenage Ryan, who again looks like an adult wearing a wig, sneaking out of Ella's bedroom. Helen confronts Ella about it and gives her a little speech about how this is the first time Ella has lied to her when she says that she hasn't slept with this guy or whatever. But everything turns out okay. Their love is undeniable.
And while she's walking down the street, Aunt Helen yells, "Did you use a Johnny?"
Yeah.
And all the neighbors are like, "What?"
And the neighbors were like, "Who's Johnny?" She said.
Yeah, they're all rocking.
Yeah. So Ella and Ryan have a scene where he talks about how great she is. Then she goes to college and he's just showing up all the time pretending to be riding a horse. And she is charmed by this, even though it seemed like the kind of thing a maniac does. Like it seemed borderline sociopathic that he just keeps showing up every weekend at college to like goof off in front of her and make her laugh. But I guess when she's down, he was her clown, And so they get married. He buries the hatchet with Helen because he loves Ella so much. And, and they have their wedding ceremony. And I think one thing I liked here, their wedding was believably underattended. There were not a lot of people at the wedding. And I was like, okay, I buy that. This is not a 400-person wedding, something like that.
Well, she doesn't have a lot of friends, although everybody loves her. And she doesn't have much family.
She's easy to love. She's hard to like.
Yeah.
I will say this about so their relationship, like, it's one of these cases where he is portrayed as like kind of a doofus. Like maybe it's a red flag.
Maybe even a little bit of a goofus. He's not a gallant, that's for sure.
It's a red flag that he's so fixated on her at the beginning, But his heel turn is so extreme.
It's pretty wild.
Well,
that I'm like, I don't know that this is the same man that we were introduced to earlier.
No, but it's because his heel turn is under the influence of Becky Ann Baker, his ambitious mother, who's the Lady Macbeth of Rhode Island, I guess. And I have to admit, if Becky Ann Baker was like, you need to do this, I'd be like, yes, ma'am, I will. I'm sorry. Of course I will. So back to 2000.
I'll have my husband, the lizard, attack you.
He never got to be the lizard, Dan. He was
there.
only
or my
Kurt
brother,
Connors.
Joe Don Baker.
he carries around a 2x4 and whacks people with it.
I go, a monster. She goes, no, I'm just wearing the work of my other brother, Rick Baker. Yeah. So back to 2008, which again is the present of the movie. People are in favor of Governor Ella. They love the footage of her dancing with her husband in the hallways. Remember, this is 2008 when people liked nice things and when things were, people liked being happy as opposed to now when people prefer to be angry all the time. And he goes, I'll solve this reporter problem. And it turns out Ryan was the one, this is her husband Ryan, who revealed their lunch sex habit to the reporter. and he says, "Hey, you got to enjoy this promotion. You got to enjoy it." He seems real creepy at this point to me. Ella calls Helen.
Why did he reveal it? Was he just bragging?
I think he was just bragging that he had sex. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure why he did it.
I get it.
I mean, it seems like he's just kind of like Dan said, he's kind of a doof. Maybe he didn't know that he was spilling something partly dangerous. I don't know.
He's still a slow horse, you know.
He's much slower. Well, actually, you know what? It fits with in slow horses. His whole problem is that he's super competent, but he always jumps the gun. He's always too quick to run into action. So it's kind of similar here. Yeah, Jack Lowden is just the guy who does things too quickly. You know. Okay, so Ella calls Helen. They briefly argue about Ryan before they cry together again. There's a lot of Ella and Helen crying together. And I wish the movie made that more of like a running gag. It seems to take it, I think, sincerely each time. But it starts to get funny how often they just cry together. Ella tells Nash she wants him staying on her security detail. She does not want the governor's
Every
official
time you say
security detail.
Nash, I think you're talking about Nash Bridges. Is
I know.
that weird?
No. I mean, there is basically just one Nash.
I mean, there's Niecy Nash, but Nash Bridges. Come on.
There's Graham Nash. Like, there are other Nashes, but at this point,
we hear
Nash
Nash.
Bridges.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you're gonna Nash,
Now,
you think Bridges.
If you're making a trailer for an episode
I don't
of Nash
always
Bridges,
Nash, but when I do, I Bridges.
if you're making a trailer for a show called Nash Bridges, you know it's just people saying Nash over and over. Right?
But here's the thing. You know what? I'll buy it with that because it's Don Johnson, right? As Nash Bridges.
Yeah.
If there's anyone who's reached that level of his character can just have his name said over and over again.
Guys.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
I got a money-making scheme.
Okay.
We make a documentary about Nashville's bridges, the bridges in the city of Nashville called Nash Bridges. We put it up. Watch the money roll in. It's our own mockbuster. It's a doc mockbuster.
You're right, Dan, because also Nash Bridges is still a huge hit, a huge current hit. Yeah, it's still enormous. Does Nashville have bridges in it? There must be at least one, right? I've never been there. You gotta be.
It's gotta be a bridge.
It's like if you have a character named Jag, the whole trailer is going to be nothing but people saying Jag.
But he's not called
Jag.
Jag is his job. He's a judge advocate general in the Navy. His name is not
really?
Jag. You're
Who
thinking of the
turns
show
into a jaguar.
You're thinking of the show Dag, starring David Allen Greer.
Yeah. Yeah.
He refers to a jaguar because the show is about the first jaguar ever to serve in the Navy for the United States. They go, I don't know if we should keep him on an aircraft carrier, sir. He is a jaguar. So anyway,
that was your jaguar.
Yeah, that was it.
No, it's good.
and then I think
I don't know what they sound like.
I think it's after sex that Ella tells Ryan she doesn't want to move into the governor's mansion right away, and he's clearly disappointed. He wants to live the life of the first gentleman of the state of whatever state this is. He wants to be Todd Palin so badly, and I wonder if that's what the inspiration for this character was.
I mean, certainly nothing in the modern world is an inspiration for this movie. It feels so far out of time in a way that's really unfortunate.
It feels like it's weird. It's weird because 30 years from now, if anyone watches this, I don't think they'll recognize that it's like a time capsule movie necessarily. The same way that I remember it was what's his face who did Richard Linklater once. I think I heard him talk about the movie Some Came Running, which is a movie that it was made in the 50s but is set in kind of the late 40s. And for people at the time, they'd be like, oh, this is a period piece, but now it's hard to tell the difference. And I wonder if this kind of feels like it is a period piece, but it's also not that period enough. That like he's not really saying anything about 2008. It feels more like James L. Brooks made a James L. Brooks movie and people were like, this isn't how politics works anymore, James. And he goes, okay, well, it's set in 2008. I don't give a shit. Whatever.
It feels like he had a screenplay that he wrote a while back and finally got the chance to. And he's like, oh, I'll just put a flashback. I'll have Julie Kavner say like, it was a more magical time when we all liked each other still.
Okay,
and I'm
so
like, I don't know if that was true.
Excuse me, Gonzo the Great. This is Julie Kavner's part. Can you?
Oh, shucks. Camilla, let's get out of here.
What if? So here's the bit you need to do, Dan. This is your stand-up bit. Is
okay.
So
finally, at age 47, I'm going to get into stand-up.
Marge Simpson is calling Homer Simpson for phone sex, while Gonzo is calling Camilla for phone sex, and the lines get crossed. Suddenly, Gonzo is talking to Homer, and Marge is talking to Camilla, and it's a series of misunderstandings because they don't know at first that the lines have been crossed.
It's going to be kind of a Newhart situation.
Exactly,
a Newhart style.
It's like I call it a double Newhart because you have to do multiple parts, whereas Newhart would just do one part, and of course, Newhart. he would refer to it as a Shelley Berman, I suppose, since Shelley Berman said that Bob Newhart stole his act, even though Shelley Berman didn't invent the talking on the telephone act. George Jessel had done one before Shelley Berman did. So anyway, moving back to Ella McCay. This is all very important information.
This will all be in your new book, joke information to fall asleep to.
Yeah, this is in my new book, Joke Boring, how to be dull talking about comedy. So anyway, it's Inauguration Day. Ella's speech is as honest and strident as it is not poetic. It's long, and the voters love her. They're applauding. The legislators do not like her. They're like, boo. They're literally booing her. Casey is not there, and Ryan is miffed.
He's at the bat.
And Ryan is miffed that she didn't thank him in the speech. And one of the few jokes that I thought was really funny in this was the governor has a slip of paper passed to her that says, "Thank me." And then as the speech goes on, he passes another slip of paper that says, "Don't mention me." It's like, or it's like, mention me, and then like, "Don't mention me." And I thought that was funny. But Ryan is like, "You didn't thank me in the speech." So what this tells me is that this movie is actually based on Hilary Swank's Oscar win, when she forgot to thank her husband in her speech. So there's just so many. It's a rich text, a rich tapestry. It's like Ulysses. It's pulling from all these different things. And the annotated Ella McCay will be very informative.
Helpful, yeah.
Yeah. So she skips out on the donors meeting so she can see her brother. Her brother, Casey. Can you guys describe Casey for me? What's he like?
Like a floppy-haired guy.
Yeah, okay. He's a floppy-haired guy. No, I mean, he's your typical pop culture, like, tech guy who's not, who's awkward in society. He
overstimulated, low impulse control.
He has agoraphobia.
He's kind of a shut-in by choice. He is very clear that he is not an agoraphobic, but that he chooses to be inside his apartment all the time. And he talks with one of these kind of like, your standard kind
Rhode
of,
Island accents,
I'm vaguely East Coasty, Rhode Islandy. No one else has that accent in the entire movie, but he really pours it on. And she goes to meet him. He plays a phone message from their dad's new girlfriend, is surprisingly emotional, and Ella is just kind of starts to. She's just trying to. She won't leave him alone. Basically, she's like, "Why aren't you talking to me? What's going on? What's going? She accidentally drinks her brother's cannabis drink and also eats his pot cookie.
And he's too busy to stop her because he's running his online sports betting advice job,
where he makes $2 million a year.
Well, at first he seems to think that she knows what she's drinking because she's like, "There's cannabis stuff all over the can," but of course she's a square. She doesn't.
And you think this is setting her up for a scene where she has to meet with the donors while high. Instead, no. She says, "I'm just going to stay at my brother's house." Phew. Funny scene averted. Yeah. I'm glad we didn't have to sit through that possible comic invention.
A scene where she's like talking to somebody and then their head morphs into like a bug head. And then you're like, what?
Have you smoked pot, Stu?
Yeah, all the time.
And then it sets up, like outside.
Tell us about the scene. Tell us about the real main story of the movie. Yeah.
There's a long scene where Kumail's partner is like...
Kumail's partner, played by James L. Brooks' son.
I didn't know that. He's not bad. He's not bad in this part.
No,
he's good. But he's like very keyed in, obsessed with getting overtime because of the extra money they'll get, and how like he has problems with alimony, and he doesn't have any money to take his kids anywhere, so he just wants the overtime. And Kumail's like, no, we should just leave, and clock out. But they end up having a tremendous amount of overtime, and then like they get dressed down for it, and Kumail takes the hit. But it's I saw someone online. I think it was actually Henry Gilbert from the Talking Simpsons podcast was talking about how like this is a real marker of like centrist like budget hawk Democrats of the time, where she's like dressing him down about like
she's like people are having trouble paying the rent right now, and you're squeezing the state for overtime for one night, and this is one of those scenes like, where
this guy also needs money.
When also we learn so much more about this guy's life than we do about Aunt Helen, than we do about Nash. That like it's amazing how much time is spent on this character, and it means nothing. It goes nowhere. They have this dressing down scene, and Nash takes the blame.
If anything, it makes him more sympathetic.
Yeah. And it's I kind of wish if this movie had been about there's one woman in government who is so noble and so principled that she kind of doesn't see how government really works, which is that everybody is just not in a not in a scheming, conniving way, but everyone's trying to figure out how to make things work best for themselves. Like, I kind of wish that this was her security detail guy doing this, and that that her Julie Kavner had her own little thing on the side that she was doing. Like, I wish that it was that would at least be that sounds like a funnier movie to me. That she's kind of oblivious to the low level who gives a shit corruption that's going on.
Certainly more complex if like some of the sympathetic characters are allowed to be scheming in some way.
Yeah. As opposed to there's 3 noble people in all of Rhode Island, Ella McCay, Nash, and Julie Kavner, and everyone else is like, but even the people who are kind of corrupt and play games of politics are not that bad. They're not evil. It's just, which is probably more real. I don't know. But
mainly
anyway,
stupid, yeah.
They're or they're just kind of like misguided or something like that, which again feels naive in the way that, I hate to get political again, but like the people in the government now, in the federal government, are genuinely evil people who want to do bad things. It's not just that they're like misguided and they don't know what they're doing, So anyway, but we spend a lot of time on this overtime subplot, which is 2 scenes of not very much. Ryan explores the governor mansion. He loves it, but Ella's going to stay at Casey's for the night, and she just lies on his couch and gets high and talks about her feelings, and Casey is so annoyed and does not want to listen to any of this. She goes on a political rant about her pet project, which is tooth tutors, which are volunteer dentists in rural areas, I think North Carolina, and she wants to bring that to Rhode Island. And the movie seems to think tooth tutors is such a funny phrase. Later on, Julie Kavner's even like, tooth tutors. It's so fun to say. Admit it,
her
tooth
character
tutors.
is high, right? So that would make sense.
But I think the movie seems to think that we're going to like that too. And Casey reveals he makes a lot of money, and he's agoraphobic by choice. He chooses to be a shut-in, but we're going to learn later that there's a real reason why he is afraid of leaving the apartment. And it is a story that I think I read one review that said would have been left on the cutting room floor for time in any other movie. But we'll get to that one. Ryan's mom, Becky Ann Baker, she's really mad that Ryan didn't get mentioned in the speech. And she's like Lady Macbething him. She's like, you've got to demand a role in the government.
And it feels like she's even like, it's in the pizza parlor after close.
The pizza parlor they own, yeah.
Yeah, and it feels like she is lit in a way to be evil. Like she is lit like from below. And
this scene has maybe my favorite character in the whole movie, which is Ryan's dad, who she goes, you don't want to be like your father. And he's like, and we reveal he's in the back and he goes, what? And she goes, never mind. And she's leaving, he goes, love you. And then he's just like this very well-meaning old man who seems perfectly happy folding boxes after hours at a pizza place. I liked him a lot. So the next day, Ella calls a press conference. And first she gets mad at Nash and the other guy for racking up their overtime pay. Again, this goes nowhere. Ella tells the press about how she had sex at the office. Ryan is so mad about it. He's like, what did you do? And Ella goes to talk to Casey at his place. We learn that Casey is upset because a year ago he told his girlfriends that he only wanted to be with her, and he was moving a little too fast, and he was afraid that she was going to ghost him. So he changed his phone number so that he wouldn't have to think about how she's not calling him. And now it's a year later, and he's still fixated on her, and she gives him some advice. And this is, again, it's almost like James L. Brooks was like, having sex in the government office with your husband at lunch. She didn't even do it during work hours. She did it during lunch. But having that during lunch is such a non-issue that's not really that big a problem. How do we make Casey's problem even less of an issue, even less of a problem than that? How do we de-escalate and de-heighten even more? So how did you guys feel about this revelation that he has been agitated for a year about his inability to talk to this girl he had liked?
Weird way he expressed it to
He said something about how, like, when you're dating, you meet a lot of people, and he doesn't want to meet anybody else. Like, he just wants to date her, something like that. What he said was not as. It was also not when he repeats it. It doesn't sound as extreme to me. It is moving fast, I guess. I don't know how long they were dating for, but like, it's not like he said. He doesn't even say.
Well, he just talks so much about how awkward it was, and like.
But he doesn't say
that's awkward, but not.
It feels like the shorthand for this would be if he said, I told her I love her at the end of the first date or something like that. Then I'd be like, oh, okay, I get it. But the words "I love you" or "I love her" never come up. They're never mentioned, and so it felt like, I don't know. It seems like he was just asking her to go steady. Which is weird for an adult to do, kind of. But I don't know about you guys, but I feel like you just kind of fall into it. You don't usually make a big deal out of it, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think it's not uncommon to ask, do you want to, I don't want to see anybody else.
Yeah, that's true. Do you want to be exclusive?
Yes.
You say, I only want to see other people You say, I don't want to see anybody else, so I'm going to put a blindfold on when I have sex with other women. And he goes, all right, literally, that makes sense. I mean, you're following the word of the what you said, the letter of the law.
You're using Duchovny's law.
Which Duchovny's Law was the short-lived TV show where he would have sex with people with a blindfold on. Yeah.
And he's a judge.
Yeah, he's also a judge, yeah. His catchphrase was, join me in my chambers. And his other one was, justice is blind. Yeah.
Time to disrobe.
He would say, time to take off, disrobe. That's what he would say, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then someone would call him and he'd say, new robe, who dis? And they'd be like, I don't understand. That doesn't make sense.
Oh, you didn't hear what I said before. It kind of makes it work better.
But not that
really.
much. So it turns out Ella's poll numbers are up. They're calling her Little Miss Nooner. People love the idea that she is getting it on during lunch with her husband. She goes to see her dad, narrowly missing a run-in with what I think is supposed to be his new girlfriend, but it's never made quite clear. And the voice of her new girlfriend
Olympia?
on the phone is Tracy Ullman, and that's not Tracy Ullman, I think, that's walking out of the building. So it was one of those, it was almost like a moment out of a movie like Vertigo, where she's just seeing her dad's girlfriend everywhere, but it doesn't, the moment was kind of strange. Anyway, she tells him, stop calling Casey. And he goes, my girlfriend told me she's going to break up with me unless I apologize to everybody that I've committed misdeeds against. And he has a long list of apologies to make. And she goes, did you cheat on mom when she was dying? And he goes, not really. And she walks out. Because not really is not a good answer for that.
Guys, I forget. Is this the last scene with Woody Harrelson? Did we get any sort of resolution on this?
We do get a resolution with him. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
There's one more big scene between Woody Harrelson and Ella, but he disappears for a while from the movie. And why not? He shouldn't be in the movie. The story is not. It's like James L. Brooks didn't have a full story, but he had like 8 half stories. And he thought that it's like he's making dinner out of just what's in the fridge. He doesn't have a recipe. He didn't have a main idea, but he's like, I'll put in a little bit of pasta, a little bit of the chicken that's left over. I'll put in a little bit of rice. Here's some old gherkins. I'll throw those in.
Here's the thing, like, even in his best movies, there are a lot of threads going on in James L. Brooks movies, and they don't always, like other movies wouldn't have them, but usually they're tied together like with some strong central idea that, like, I mean, it's something, sometimes it just comes in at the end. Like, Terms of Endearment, like, feels sort of unfocused until everyone has to focus on, like, the crisis,
Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's
someone
the
gets
anti-monitors destroying all the alternate Earths,
like, broadcast news is brought together kind of by, like, a thesis statement about the news, but it does sort of spiral in a lot of different directions. Like, here it feels like he never found the thing that was going to, like, tie it all up. You know?
I think you're right. There's like not a strong theme here, and also in those movies, the characters feel so real. They feel so alive. Even like in Terms of Endearment, like it's Jeff Daniels, right? Who's in that? Like, or is it John Lithgow? Who plays the like husband or ex-husband or whatever?
Lithgow's in it. I know. I can't remember the whole cast.
I got to watch again. I can't remember who's in it and who's not in it. But I feel like even what I'm saying is like even the side characters feel like full people. You know, they feel like they're real characters.
Jeff Daniels and John Lithgow are both in it. I don't know who.
Oh boy! I mean, they play brothers. That's right. They play twin brothers who change places, and they're both gynecologists.
Jeff Daniels is Deborah Winger's husband.
He's the husband,
with the name of his name is Flap Horton. Flap Horton.
You got to have a good movie if you're going to name your character Flap Horton. Like that movie's got to be so good.
You got to have stones to pull that shit off.
But like those characters feel like real characters.
Remember when the trailer came out for Terms of Endearment, and it was just people saying "Flap." Flap, flap.
Everybody's talking about Flap Horton. Flap. Yeah. That's the other thing is a lot of times those commercials, they don't do anymore because they don't have VO. The old ones, they'd have everyone saying the name and the VO goes, everybody's talking about so-and-so. It's like, well, yeah, everyone in the movie. I don't understand. Like, you could make a movie about my brother and it just have people going, David, because they're people who know him. Like, that's why we talk about him. We talk to him, But anyway, it's not like you don't turn on the news and people are like, David, I mean, they are, but they're talking about King David.
Really?
I mean, yeah. Did you hear
he's back in the news again?
He's back in the news again. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. People are still mad about him having that affair with Bathsheba. So where were we in this thing? So anyway, so we'll go back. So
the cleanest Sheba.
Casey gets the courage to leave his apartment. He's going to go call his ex-girlfriend. Meanwhile, Ryan confronts Ella. He's like, why didn't you check with me before you revealed the sex stuff? And they argue, and he goes, this marriage isn't working for me.
And he's like, everybody's going to think I have nothing better to do than have sex with my wife in the afternoon. I'm like, yeah, you
Awesome.
don't.
But it's also like he also runs a pizza chain. Like he has a job. It's not like he's just sitting around.
You have a
know?
non-traditional work schedule, bro.
Take advantage of it. He says, I already took care of it. I gave a check to the reporter to kill the story. And she's like, a check? He's like, yeah. Like, why do you think he asked for a check? Well, because people don't want to carry that much cash around. And he didn't realize, because he's a moron, that you shouldn't do a payoff and put your name on it. Much like the check to a prostitute that sunk Jerry Springer's political career back when he was the boy mayor of Cleveland. So he says that if she doesn't give him, he gives her like a little written speech she's supposed to read, which basically says, I'm going to share governing duties with my husband. You get 2 for 1, and he's going to be great. You're going to love it. And she goes, so you're going to co-govern the state? And he goes, yes. And if I don't get that, this marriage is over. And she says, good. And he goes, I'm going to give you a messy public divorce. And she goes, if you would you don't even like me. If you liked me a little bit, you wouldn't even threaten that. And it's like, well, everyone throughout the movie has been telling you shouldn't be married to this guy. So it is true. But this heel turn is so extreme. It goes from, wait, but I really want all the trappings of being a governor's husband. I want to feel important, to, look, if I'm not running this state, then we are done. It is over. And it feels like a big leap. And I wish that, again, the movie could have made comic hay out of how big a leap this is, how big his demand has gotten from where it was before.
Yeah.
But instead, it's treated very seriously, very dramatically, She goes to her first staff meeting. They applaud her, and she snaps and goes, don't applaud, don't applaud. And they all feel bad. And then she goes to calm herself down. Casey goes to his ex-girlfriend's house, and this is Io Edebiri from The Bear as Susan. And he's
who
really,
has a very weary affect here.
Yes. Well, this scene,
I would too. Like, I was like, how
I'm
do
not
I
saying
make
it's not unearned.
How do I make this scene work? How do I make what is a wild scene?
I don't think you can make this scene
emotionally coherent.
He is so awkward, and she is so aggravated, and she's trying so hard to get him out of her apartment. She's like, let's go to this restaurant I know. And it's so clear. And he seems like a psychopath. And he just is like, you got to be my girlfriend. And she eventually, under duress, it feels like, says yes, and instantly feels weird about it. And I was like, this whole scene made me feel, I was very upset by it. It made me feel very uncomfortable. Yeah.
Not only should this scene have been cut for, plot and time reasons, the scene should be cut because it is absolutely unworkable. Like, it wants us to believe that this is like just a wacky, young, good-hearted man.
He's adorable.
Can't express himself. And what he has done is he has like bullied his way back into this woman's apartment, to talk about a relationship that ended a year ago?
And ended because he ghosted her. And he's entirely in the wrong, but he's just supposed to be so kind of cute and adorably awkward and clumsy. And it is, I make the joke about that Say Anything is a movie about stalking, because she's like, we can't be together, and then he shows up outside her house blasting the song they had sex to, which is a hostile act, I think. But they still have feelings for each other. So within the world of the movie,
wouldn't it be funny if it was a crazier song though? Like it was
I like big butts that I cannot lie. Or what would
Rump
be the
Shaker by Wrexham Effect?
What would be? I mean, it's got to be a butt-related song, probably, right? But what would be or if it was like Auld Lang Syne, like it was like
it's Baby Beluga.
Yeah, it's Alex F by Crazy Frog.
That'd be so funny. And you're like, well, that's it also she has to do with the trauma of that being the
Barbie
song that they
girl.
lost their virginity to, But this it is taking the uncomfortable kind of subtext of that and making it the text of this scene. And the way she is playing it, it really feels like she has been beaten down and not won over. Like she has really been like worn down and is like has become it's like within one scene, Stockholm Syndrome has set in, and we later see them. There's just a shot of them sitting and eating dinner, laughing, but you see it from outside, and I have to imagine she's like, please let me go.
Her phone, she's typed 911, and the fingers hovering above the call button.
And I think it's just such a misreading of the emotion.
You have to understand. This kid's a millionaire.
He is a millionaire. That's true. But I don't know if she knows that. He doesn't dress like a millionaire, that's for sure.
Wow.
You'd think he could afford a haircut.
Not every place is L.A., Elliot. We don't all have to show off what we make.
I'm sorry, Stuart. Did you say that? The peacockiest peacock I know.
So anyway, Ryan tells the press that Ella was the one who said they should pay off the reporter. Meanwhile, in the staff meeting, it's gone all day. Her staff is literally asleep in their chairs as she rambles on around about the programs. The press bursts into the room, knocking Ella over, giving her a concussion. It's said later. Nash gets her out, drives her away. It's a real Kevin Costner, Whitney Houston bodyguard moment. And Ella is like, no, it's not the reporter's fault.
Wait, you say a bodyguard moment. Is that because they drop a silk scarf over a katana?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's exactly
that shit
why.
was so hot, right?
Yeah. Well, because they represent the male and female parts,
It's the
right?
sexiest thing to Stewart.
It was.
Sharp sword.
It's a metaphor for the softness of the penis and the hard steel of the vagina. Yeah. So, Ella excuses the reporter. She's like, "No, they're working under hard constraints too, and it's difficult for them."
So why did he just drive her into nowhere? Like they didn't have a plan?
He's just trying to get her away from all those people. Again, it's the kind of thing that to me is coded as this. If this is a romantic comedy, now I'm going to get you away from all this noise and hubbub. We're going to have a moment together, and it's when we're going to realize our feelings for each other.
Talk about my mom falling out of a chair again.
I'll tell you another story about my mom falling out of a chair into a pool. But Ella excusing the reporters is one of these things where I'm like, oh yeah, this is one of the things that was wrong with 2008 liberal democratic thinking was, and I feel like I have this instinct too, to look at it from another person's point of view and excuse their behavior and be like, oh, well, they're under pressures too, instead of doing kind of what we need to do now, which is to be like, that's bad. Don't do that. Come on. So anyway, but it's supposed to show what a sweet person she is. Casey's date is going great. They're just laughing, like I said. Ella has Nash take her to Helen's, and Ella refuses to let herself scream in frustration. She just won't let a scream out, because if she screams, maybe she'll never stop. Governor Bill shows up with the party leadership, and they all convene at Helen's, and they tell them that Ryan's claims have sunk her. They want her to resign right away. And Albert Brooks takes her outside and gives her ridiculously not conflicting advice, but he's like, you should resign because the politicians hate you and they'll go after you. But you've got all this leverage, so you should use that leverage, to get something.
This is a good scene to me. This is like,
it's one of the better scenes for sure.
In large part because Albert Brooks is in it.
Yeah.
And he knows how to do this sort of thing in general, but also particularly with James L. Brooks material, he knows how to play it. And like, it is him as a politician who, unlike Ella McCay, like knows what needs to be done to stay a politician. And so he's like, I have to protect my own interests. I cannot help you, but I will wink, like say a thing
I can
that
think
might
out loud.
help you.
Well, I think there is a deeper idea in this movie that I wish that it was playing more with, which is that Ella McCay is honest and noble and principled, and she gets nowhere with her projects, and people don't like her. Whereas Governor Bill, played by Albert Brooks, or Governor Bill, he is painted as a guy.
Game.
He can play the game and is focused on playing the game, and voters love him. He's walking across the street, and a guy honks and is like, "Hey, Governor Bill, we love you." And so it's that the idea that in a democracy, you got to know how to play the game, and I feel like this movie is circling that idea and is not quite. It kind of gets there at the end, but not quite getting there. But like that would be a theme. Like that's a theme for this. It would mean jettisoning Casey and his girlfriend. It would mean jettisoning.
Oh,
Ella's
that's good
dad.
stuff. It's so good.
It gets to a theme that, frankly, I do not care for, at least not at this moment in history, where it's like, well, maybe she can do better outside the government.
Yeah.
Like maybe like she can do good. And it's like, fuck you. Like this is like how we get so many shitty politicians and so little faith in like the government being able to change, and like frankly conservative thinking of like, oh, it should all be privatized,
Well, and
like,
also a conservative thinking that it should be privatized, and voter thinking that, well, all government is scum and slime anyway, so we just got to tear it all down. We got to rip it all apart. When in reality, if anything, this movie is a show of a functioning government. I mean, there seem to be no problems in the state. There are things that could be better, but when she comes in, they're not like, we're running out of tax money. Oh, crime is up. She it seems like Governor Bill has done a top-notch job of turning this little state into a big success story.
He let that whole Nooner scandal happen under his nose. That's
yeah.
When the
That really
biggest
should be laid at his feet.
I mean, when the biggest story in the state is one, new governor dances with husband in hallway. And then 2, new governor had sex with husband at lunch on government property. Like, this state is doing great. Like, there are no problems in this state right now. When you can make $2 million a year just advising people on sports betting, then you know what? The economy's working, right?
I'm what's his platform like? Patreon or something? What's he doing?
I know he has a lot of computer screens with graphs on them, but I don't really know how he's working otherwise. Yeah, maybe he has a newsletter.
Every time he boots it up, he's like, I'm in.
He just pours himself a glass of wine, dances around while he hacks into the system. Yeah, exactly. That's a swordfish reference.
Never seen it.
Oh, it's
don't admit that. We're going to screen it at Nighthawk Prospect Park.
It was my way of setting you up to plug it.
I don't know when I can't plug it. I don't know when the date is. It's a Thursday coming up in March.
There's no way of knowing what Thursday it is.
No possible way. Well, Stuart's on it. I'm continuing to talk.
Well, Stuart's
I'm
on the case.
like
well,
Dracula.
I'll tell you.
Thursday, March 26th.
So you vamp Dracula's. I was like, they're not ready yet. So let me just tell you about what else has going on around the castle.
I've seen Swordfish, so I'll play the role of the expert, and Stuart will play the role of like funny
novice,
novice guy.
So he's your apprentice. It's a real what's that Game of Thrones show? The guy and the kid, the knight and the stuff.
The guy, the kid, the knight, and the stuff.
The Knight of the Seven Kingdoms?
Yeah, that's what it is. Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I haven't watched it yet.
Based on the Hedge Knight?
Yeah,
and the other Dunk and Egg stories?
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. So anyway...
I could go for a Dunk and Egg right about now.
So Ella says, I'm not going to resign unless you pass these programs that I've wanted throughout the movie. That's right, the prenatal care. That's right, tooth tutors. And Ella's dad shows up and says, please forgive me. And she goes, no, I'm not going to. And Julie Kavner says, sometimes not forgiving someone can be just as satisfying as forgiving them. And Helen and Ella talk about their anger at Ryan, and they finally scream together. Let me tell you, not a surprise, Jamie Lee Curtis is good at screaming. You know what?
Yeah.
Has she ever made a movie where she screams a lot? She's one of the real queens of scream. She's one of the original queens of screams. Did you see that tour?
Yes, it was amazing.
I got a headache after a while. I got to admit, but still,
if you don't get a headache at the Scream Queen tour, you're not doing it right.
Heather Langen came. Jamie Lee Curtis, Linnea Quigley, Barbara Crampton.
They were they did an amazing job. It's a great show.
3 hours. I don't know how they.
Yeah.
The documentary had to cut it down, so it's not the full experience. The documentary Spike Lee directed about it.
We, of course, were in the splash zone, so we were covered in blood and, I guess, saliva.
Yeah.
It was like a Guar concert.
It was. As they scream together, Ryan's pizza place is closed for health reasons, and then he's arrested for resisting. So this seems like they're using the tools of the state to exact retribution on a private citizen. Again, might have been a funnier idea at a different point in history than the one we're living at right now. Ella gets the program she wanted, and she starts a legal aid office to help people from getting evicted. And Nash is working there, Julie Kavner's working there, and she announces, Nash passes her the numbers, that they've saved 9,000 people from being evicted or something like that. And everybody applauds.
It was like some odd number, and I was like, this feels like a weird information thing to just like hot off the press information thing.
Yeah, why not like celebrate once you hit like an even like big round number? Like
maybe they do it every time and people are kind of sick of it.
Yeah,
that's possible. They're like, all right, okay, another number. They got to announce it every time. And then
9,001.
That sounded like Dracula was vamping. Yeah, exactly. Why don't we count for a while, everybody? 9,002, 9,003. Are you ready?
Has a Muppet ever done this bit before?
I'm the first vampire to count, right? So, and Julie Kavner ends it with some more voiceover. She says, there's no opposite word for trauma, but hope comes close. And I was like, it made me want to take the movie's face in my hands and just go,
it floats.
Oh, adorable movie. Oh, naive, sweet movie. You don't know. Yeah. And that's the story of Ella McCay, guys. That's a story of
McCay.
It's a story of a simpler time when politics was hopeful and sex scandals were adorable and you could bully. Skeksis were adorable. A Skeksy sex scandal? Well, that's why the Lord High Chamberlain didn't get the job.
The sexy Skeksy?
That was that Beatles song. Sexy Skeksy.
Yeah.
Look what you done. You hit a stone with a sword in front of everyone. Ooh, sexy Skeksy.
And then they're like, this will make more sense later.
I've been working on a song with my friend Jim Ensign.
Yeah, notable Cockney accent from these Liverpudlians.
It's a thin line.
Yeah.
Oi, mate. I'm one of the Beatles, I am. Hello. Johnny Lennon here with a few little tunes for you.
Yeah, Ellen McCay.
I'll just run up the apple and pears and get me guitar. Yeah. So Ellen McCay. So guys, we talked a lot about Ellen McCay. It feels like a movie without a center to me. There were so many times during that when I was watching it, I was like, "What is this movie about? Like what?" And it's. I hate to say it because James L. Brooks in other movies has been masterful. He's created so much that I love, but it felt like one of those movies where you're like, I think this is like a simulation of a movie. Like it doesn't feel like a real full movie, you know.
Indeed.
And I think I guess we're in final judgments.
Yeah, we're getting into final judgments. Let me just introduce it and then we can give our summary feelings. Is this a good, bad movie, a bad movie, or a movie we kind of like? Stuart, you're in the middle of the sentence, so continue.
I was just going to say, it feels like a movie that was probably an idea or a screenplay that he'd had for a little bit, and that he felt like he wanted to make a movie, and he wanted to inject some kind of his own perception of what we've lost in politics and try to provide some kind of a hope, some kind of a, like, wasn't it better back in the day? And also, get some friends together to make a movie. It doesn't work. I think it's a bad movie. But there's some weird stuff in it, like a sex scarf. And
yeah, I'm gonna give it a marginal.
When the most notable thing about the movie is that someone wears a scarf while having sex, then I feel like the movie is lacking a certain substance. It is notable. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a marginal kind of liked. I gave on Letterboxd. So usually on Letterboxd, the 3 stars is the lowest I would give a movie that I would recommend to someone. Like that's the I like this enough that I would say, yeah, it's worth watching or whatever. It's
the least you'll give a movie that you recommend for watching on its own. For masturbation purposes, you'll recommend any number of 1-star and 2-star movies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I gave this 2.5 stars and a heart to indicate like, yeah, it doesn't work, but I'm sort of fond of it. Like we said before, I wish there were more movies like this. There's scenes within it that work. Like there are people that I enjoy seeing. I wasn't mad at this movie. Like there was stuff in it that I enjoyed, but like I do wish it had any kind of center to it. Yeah. Like it doesn't seem to know what it's about.
It doesn't seem to know what it's about. It's not funny, and it's not. It doesn't do the things that James L. Brooks does best in his best work, which is being funny and being heartfelt in a genuinely like kind of emotional to the point of tear-jerking way. But it feels like real emotions. And I want to separate my appreciation for the motives behind making a movie like this from my depreciation of the actual movie. I wish they made more movies like this so that a movie this poor did not have to be the standard bearer for this kind of movie at this point right now. I appreciate the thinking behind it. I love so much of James L. Brooks's work, but this is it's sometimes a great artist tries something and it doesn't work, and this is one of those times,
Sometimes a great notion is not good.
And sometimes a great lotion really helps your skin. Hi. Welcome to Ellie Kalin's K-Lotions. This is my new company that makes lotions just for you by making them just for me. My skin is the default human universal skin. And so any lotion that works for me will work for any human being. If it doesn't work for you, you're using it wrong. That's especially the K-Lotions promise.
Special areas. Anyway,
all the special areas. Your right armpit, right underneath your nose, the back of your neck, right under your head, where it kind of connects with the rest of your head. Yeah, exactly.
Since we're in sort of a fake sponsor zone, let's talk about some real sponsors.
All right, let's do that. I mean, K-Lotions is not paying for this. Yeah,
they aren't paying for this, but you know who is? This podcast is brought to you in part by Squarespace. It's the place where you can get everything you need to offer services online, get paid online, do it all in one place with professional on-brand invoices, online payments. It gives you helpers, aids to streamline your workflow, stuff like built-in appointment scheduling, email marketing tools, all the sorts of things that you need if you want to have a home on the web. And it also offers...
Dan, if I could butt in here, I just want to say, to put it into real-world terms that everyone will understand, let's say you're a shut-in. You want to start your sports betting advice business. You're going to need a website. You're going to need a home on the web to do that. Squarespace is what you can use to make that website. And then you can make up to $2 million a year, according to this movie.
According to Ellen McCay,
that's $2,008.
Not us.
No.
Not us. No, we don't know. But yeah, if you want to make that website, you are able to with their complete library of professionally designed and award-winning templates. It's got options for every sort of website you might want. Intuitive drag-and-drop editing, beautiful styling options, visual design effects. You don't have to have experience in coding. You can just use their web builder. So head to squarespace.com/flop for a free trial. And when you are ready to launch, use offer code FLOP to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
You know what? We've got other sponsors too. In fact, we've got one of my favorite sponsors for the show. Other sponsors, don't listen to me say that. That's right. It's Factor. Look, we're all aware. I've talked about this before. Food, I like eating it. I need to eat it. It keeps my body alive. And if it tastes good, so much the better. Here's the thing I don't like having to do. Preparing that food for myself. It's something I'm not good at. I don't enjoy it. But sometimes I need to do it. I'm like, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way that I could have quality, functional ingredients food that's delicious, that gives me all the nutrients or proteins and things that I need. There's got to be a way. Help me. Can somebody help me? And you know who heard my call? Factor. With Factor, having a busy schedule is no longer a good excuse for not eating fully prepared, balanced meals. They can be ready in 2 minutes, no planning, no cooking. If you are a lazy guy like me who likes to eat food in order to stay alive, then Factor is the place to do it. The food is it's really good ingredients. It tastes really good. It heats up easy. And when you have it, at least in my opinion, it doesn't feel like food that you've taken out of your fridge or freezer and then eaten. Like it, and then just heat it up. Like it feels like you got a restaurant meal or like you cooked it yourself and knew how to cook. That's the thing. If I knew how to cook, I would cook meals like Factor. I don't know how to cook though. So thankfully, Factor's there. It features quality, functional ingredients, including lean proteins, colorful veggies. You want veggies with color in them, right? You don't want veggies that are gray, limp British veggies. You don't want those. Actually, Britain has some great veggies. They have great peas there, but whole food ingredients and healthy fats. There's 100 rotating.
Too.
There's 100 rotating weekly meals to keep things fresh and delicious all through the winter and beyond. You don't have to just keep ordering the same thing over and over again. There's a lot of great choices. It's always fresh. It's never frozen when it comes to you. And it's ready in about 2 minutes. It takes so little time. I've talked about it before. Factor is a big hit in our house. Often I will have it planning to eat it for lunches when I'm working and find that it's gone because my wife has taken it to eat her lunch at work and have Factor food. And it just means we need to get more Factor stuff. I should just order more. Anyway, I like this product. I use it. I think you should too. And it solves the problem I need, which is food without cooking. So head to factormeals.com/flop50off and use the code flop50off. That's factormeals.com/FLOP50, the numerals, OFF, and use the code flop50off, FLOP50OFF, to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. It's the most important meal of the day, everybody, and you can get it free for a year. This offer is only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor.
We've also got a Jumbotron. This message is for Sarah, last name withheld, and it is from Ben, last name withheld. Happy 40th birthday, Sarah. I have been lucky enough to be your friend for more than 25 years. I love your enthusiasm, your ruthless Settlers of Catan gameplay, the laughs we have shared, your hatred of sunburns, and your obsession with bidets. I hope your next 40 years will be filled with 1,000s of laughs and 100s of bidets.
That's very sweet and very hygienic.
So many bidets.
Yeah, maybe
usually you can do with one.
I don't
or two.
know. I burn mine out pretty quick.
They get overused.
They put in work.
Dan, can I mention some things of my own that I would like to promote?
Sure, why not?
As mentioned earlier, my new comic book, Barbarian Behind Bars from Mad Cave Studios, is on comic book store shelves now. I am reuniting with my Maniac of New York artist, Andrea Moody, and it's really cool. It's the story of a barbarian from a fantasy world who lands on Earth, gets thrown in jail. Nobody can speak his language. They don't know who he is. How is his public defender going to defend him, and what happens when the mystic evils that have followed him to this world start causing chaos in the prison. So that's Barbarian Behind Bars. I think it's really fun. I think you'll like it. It's pretty violent. So if you don't like seeing guys getting into fights and stuff getting hurt, then you should still read it. Anyway, I've got a couple other things. I want to remind you that my book, Joke Farming, How to Write Comedy and Other Nonsense from the University of Chicago Press is still available if you want to learn how jokes work, how to write them, what my writing process is for writing jokes that has served me well, lo these 20 years or so of professional joke writing, then pick it up. It's called Joke Farming. It's available everywhere that you can buy a book. I'm still writing Harley Quinn for DC Comics. As of this recording, the issue that came out most recently, which is issue 59, where Harley goes out on a date with her villain nemesis Althea Klang, the villainous land developer that she's been fighting, has come out. That's the most recent issue, and I'm really proud of it. I think it's my favorite issue of the run. I really love it. I'm really happy with how it came out, and I'd recommend it. So that's Harley Quinn on store shelves now, and why not check out my other podcast, Clueless, which is a puzzle podcast through the Smartless Network.
Man,
Wait, I had one more thing. Wait, I had one more thing. Wait, I just realized I had one more thing. One more thing.
Yeah.
I think my Hercules comic series, my Disney Hercules comic series, they're releasing a collection of the first 6 issues. And if that sells well enough, maybe we'll be able to print the next 6 issues, which are written and which will complete the story started in that book. So pick it up so that you can read the end of the story eventually.
I saw there was a Kickstarter for that, but I didn't see how does one just get the thing without being a Kickstarter funder?
Now, I think the Kickstarter was to get it going. I think it's going to be available in stores.
Okay, great.
Also, yeah.
Hey, it's TV Chef Fantasy League. You know, the podcast where we watch cooking competition shows and we treat them like fantasy sports.
Right now, we're getting ready for Top Chef Carolinas.
We spend all year covering these competitions, but now it's time for the main event.
The apex predator of competitive cooking television shows.
Tune in, draft a team, and play along.
With your hosts, Sierra Cato,
Mike Gabalon,
and If You Waddy Way.
New episodes every week at MaximumFun.org or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wonderful is a podcast where we talk about things we like. That's hard to sell in a promo like this, so we've enlisted the help of piano rock superstar Billy Joel to tell you about some of the topics we've covered. Take it away, real Billy Joel.
Diddy Rockspin on Lakeside, Worcestershire, Circle Time, Sega, Dreamcast, Caesar Salad, Tower of Hanoi. Keep me up, 8 time capsules, Wayne's World, Cheese Pulls, Wallace Stevens, Donkey Kong, Fun Size Almond Joy. They didn't start the podcast. Except that's not true, they didn't 22. They didn't start the podcast. No, they actually did. That was in fact a fib.
Listen to Wonderful every Wednesday on MaximumFun.org or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks, real Billy Joel.
No problem, Griffin.
Let us turn to letters from listeners like you. This first letter is from Graham, last name withheld.
Cracker.
He's never heard that one before.
I have a fascination with movies that were received poorly by the public upon release, but became classics over the years. Growing up, I had always known John Carpenter's The Thing as a sci-fi horror classic, but was surprised to discover it was hated by critics and audiences when it hit cinemas in 1982. The, quote, official explanation is that it suffered from comparison to E.T., but I personally don't buy this. Surely audiences wouldn't expect the aliens in a horror film to be friendly. Showgirls and Starship Troopers, both directed by Paul Verhoeven, were considered misogynistic and fascistic, respectively, on release, but have been positively reevaluated as satires in subsequent years. Why is this obvious now and not back in the 90s? What got me started on this train of thought was, of all things, a Goofy movie. It received tepid reviews when it was released, and I myself remember watching it shortly after it came out and being unimpressed, but it has since gone on to be a beloved entry in the Disney catalog, a touching story about a father-son relationship with some excellent tunes to boot. I rewatched it recently and found myself enjoying it much more than I remember doing so as a kid. So what films can you think of that audiences or yourselves reacted to poorly when it came out, but went on to be appreciated later? And why were the movie's qualities not apparent to audiences from the start? Keep on flopping. Graham, I want to say a few things about the movies that were referenced here.
You hate all of them.
Well, no, so The Thing, I remember, I feel like Ebert floated this E.T. theory. I don't know that was widely the issue. I think that with The Thing, part of it was critics of the time were like, you're remaking a classic. And they're like, I like The Thing from Another World, but I don't think it's like an unassailable movie that we can't remake. But I think that there have been fewer remakes at that time in Hollywood. They were viewed as, more of like a full scourge by the critical class than like now people have just buckled under and they're like, I guess this is what we're getting. So if a good one's good, then we'll say it's good. But I think that was a large part of it, maybe.
I think that's part. I think also it was it is providing video nasty thrills on a big budget at a major release, and I think critics were not ready for that.
And
I think
it's got a bleak ending,
and it's bleak. And I think the fact that it's bleak and dark, and that it is gross, I think in a great way. I think it's my second favorite John Carpenter movie, but I think it's his best movie. I think they just were not tuned to it. It's similar to when Bonnie and Clyde came out, and the big story was how it got a very bad review from the New York Times, and Pauline Kael's first review I think was not too good for it, and then later she resaw it and reevaluated it, but it was partly because the youth of America, among other things, really took to it, and sometimes the critics are just not ready for something that they're not used to. That's just they're people too.
Well, I want to say similarly with a Goofy movie, I think that it was looked at as this cheap TV animation is being released by Disney. It felt like there's a context it was in where they were devaluing something that it was not as fully animated as the big Disney things, but it's a pretty well done film, and it's delivering something different. It's delivering a story about kind of a modern teen and his dad. I mean, sure, they're both dogmen, but it's providing a different thing that I think over time people appreciated that. And I think that so much of this has to do with context like that. For the first thing that springs to my mind in this area is The Big Lebowski, which was
that's what I was going to mention too.
Dismissed. I liked it when I first saw it. I was like, "What are you guys talking about?" But it had a hard time, and I think part of it was it came right after Fargo was that?
Yeah.
And people were expecting a certain thing out of the Coens. Okay, well now they're making Oscar plays or whatever, and it's no, they're making the same sort of silly stuff they've been making for a while.
Well, with the Coen brothers it took a long time, I think, for critics to understand that the Coen brothers, there is a unifying feel through their movies, but it doesn't mean they just make the same kind of movie over and over again. And and I think they did see Big Lebowski as why are these artists wasting their talent on this pointless goofiness, and then when the Coen brothers made a Goofy movie, it was the same thing over again. That they were why are the Coen brothers wasting their time on this animated movie about Goofy and his son, because they made that one too. But it all comes down to, I think, with audiences, I think sometimes it is the way a movie, I think you're right, Dan, it's context. It's sometimes the way a movie is presented and marketed. Mm-hmm. If The Big Lebowski is presented as from the makers of Fargo, you're going to expect it's going to be like Fargo. If a movie like Starship Troopers is presented as just an action movie, then I think what's amazing to me is how few of the reviewers understood the purpose of Starship Troopers and took it at face value and were Verhoeven doesn't seem to realize he's made a pro-Nazi movie, and it's come on, guys, think for a moment.
Verhoeven did a whoopsie.
The idea that any European filmmaker of his age would not be aware of what he's doing when it comes to presenting fascist ideas in a movie is also funny
Neil
to me.
Patrick Harris in clearly SS-inspired gear.
Well, let's say Hugo Boss adjacent gear.
But I think it's also I will not to excuse these critics, but I'll say they're coming at it with their context too. They also are not given a lot of time to think about the thing that they're watching. They see it, they got to write the review, and sometimes with a work of art, it takes you a little bit of time to let it sink into and to figure out what's going on. I remember when I saw There Will Be Blood, an old man on the other sitting across the aisle from me goes, "So what did you think about that?" And clearly wanted to complain to somebody. And I was like, "I don't know yet." He's like, "You don't know?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. I just finished watching it. I don't know." And it was yeah, I got to think about this. This is not a movie where I'm just going to be a second later going to be yeah, that was a total rockin', piece of work. We're oh, what a snooze fest.
Yeah.
And clearly he had made up his mind. Sometimes it takes time. And, it's one of the other movies that I think about with this is Vertigo, which when it came out was considered kind of middling to poor Hitchcock. And it took time, I think, for people to tease out how autobiographical the obsession stuff in it is and how deep that runs in terms of filmmaking and storytelling and what he's doing in it. And they were instead were like, not as many thrills. It's not as suspenseful as his other movies. They're just judging it by the wrong criteria, I think.
And sometimes it's unclear. Like, I also think about one of my big, totally wrong statements or like thoughts I had was like, I walked out of the
You were like, RFK Jr. will make a great health and resources, whatever person.
No, I walked out of the Frighteners and I'm like, this is going to be huge. Because like to me, like it had everything. It was like, like laughs and thrills and it's glossy.
Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah. America loves Jeffrey Combs. But, but it had...
It's got John Astin having sex with a mummy. People are going to love this.
But it did have Michael J. Fox, who people genuinely do love. And I was like, this is going to be big. And then it was a huge flop. But it has had, it's a cult success.
It's a real good movie.
It's had legs. And that's partly because then, all of Peter Jackson's stuff became notable because of like what he went on to do, in part because of the Frighteners.
Oh,
in part because
the
Frighteners
what did he do?
Showed that he could control, he could do the sort of like big special effects filmmaking on a large level. But I don't know why that wasn't more of a success.
I think it's not a movie that, I loved it. I remember seeing it in the theaters and loving it. But while watching it, at no point was I like, this is going to be a big hit. Because again, it's got a darkness to it. It's got an unpleasantness to it.
Horror comedies always do badly.
Not always,
I
but
don't know about that, but they've got
like
a
American Werewolf in London, for instance, was a huge hit.
But also, American Werewolf in London
movie.
is not that funny.
It's funny.
It's pretty much. It's okay, but it's not funny the way The Frighteners or like Shaun of the Dead or Evil Dead 2 is. But Shaun of the Dead was a successful movie.
Yeah.
I think it's you gotta with a horror comedy. I think you really gotta. There are successful horror comedies like Happy Death Day was a successful movie. But like you have.
But it is harder.
Well, I think it's really hard, I think, because you got to make sure the audience is aware all the time. Is this a laughing part or is this a scary part? And some of the best horror comedies, it's not super clear when you're supposed to laugh and when you're supposed to scream. And that hurts. It makes it
like
harder
Hereditary.
In some ways, like Hereditary, yeah.
Yeah.
You laugh when that head comes off.
It's funny. When Gabriel Byrne just bursts into flames and you're like, his name's Byrne.
I get it. Stuart, do you have anything or should I move on?
I was going to say something like Prometheus, a movie that I think suffered a lot because it was presented very clearly as a direct Alien prequel. And it is, obviously, that was not Ridley Scott's intention.
Far Stranger.
It's Far Stranger, but I think it's a beautiful movie that has a lot of great things in it. And it's a movie that's also grown on me over time.
This second and final letter is from Justice Last Name Withheld, who writes, "Hey, Peaches. This question is mainly for Elliot."
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
How dare you?
I recently had a kid and realized I had
guys, wait. We got to take this to Maury. I can't.
No,
I'm not admitting paternity.
I recently had a kid and realized I have no idea what the good, kid-friendly dinosaur books are that aren't 30 years out of date. Any suggestions of books or movies that your kids enjoyed and you felt were reasonably accurate or educational? Also, I really pushed for Elliot as a name, but got outvoted. Sorry.
That's all right. It's a great name. Maybe next time.
Too many syllables.
Too many
3 syllables, Dan.
Yeah, man. What? My tongue's exhausted by the end of that.
It can't all be Dan. But your name is Daniel, right? That's 2 syllables. Yeah. Stuart.
Yeah, you got one more.
2 syllables. I got one more syllable. Yeah, one more syllable. More fun. More syllables, more fun. That's what the old guy in the Six Flags commercials used to say, right? That's a good question. I think when it comes to like movies that are accurate, I don't know that there are any, to be honest. Like we have yet to see the accurate, feathered dinosaur movie of my dreams. In terms of books for kids that are accurate now, I gotta say I don't know. There are good books for grown-ups about current dinosaur science. I'll recommend, there's a podcast called Terrible Lizards that I think is family-friendly listening. That's about kind of the latest in dinosaur science, and I like that podcast a lot. But for books, I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you. My children are not interested in dinosaurs, which pains me. One is into sports, and the other is into animals that are alive or prehistoric mammals. And I'm like, it's just one step. Why are we learning about these glyptodons? Let's just move over to dinosaurs. Point, yeah.
But mammals are so cute.
They're cute, but like, look at I mean, the prehistoric ones, there's like a big sloth and stuff like that. It's
That's
like, what
actually
are we
pretty
doing? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I just say this as someone who like loves animals, but is mostly into like how adorable they are.
I mean, that's mostly my son's interest too, is how adorable they are. Yeah.
Hey, let's move on to recommendations. Movies that, as much as Ellen McCay might have its heart in the right place, maybe your time would be better spent elsewhere.
The problem is Ellen McCay's heart is in the right place, but every other body part is in totally
you don't even
messed
want
up.
to know where the spleen is.
Oh no! Oh boy,
brother.
it's in the scrotum. That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
What? I want to pull an Elliot and recommend a movie from the 30s. Elliot may have recommended this in the past, in fact, but I didn't check. This is Gold Diggers of 1933. It's on the Mervyn Leroy Criterion collection right now, although it's co-directed with Busby Berkeley, who did the musical numbers.
And there was a Warner's Busby Berkeley DVD set that came out years ago that this is in too. That's a great set. There's some really good stuff in it.
I had thought maybe I'd seen this movie before because I'd seen clips of the absolutely nutty musical numbers in this. But I realized I had not actually seen the whole movie, and I had done myself a disservice because it's very funny. It starts out with a lot of stuff about, it's the Depression, like all these shows are being shut down, these chorus girls have no work for them. The main meat of it then ends up being like a rich son of a family played by wait, who is it?
Dick Powell, right?
Dick Powell. Gets involved with one of the chorus girls, and then the brother and their lawyer show up to try and put a stop to this, saying like, oh, these girls are all just gold diggers. And the girls overhear this and decide to get back at these people by gold digging the fuck out of them and making them love it, love being taken advantage of. And it's really funny on top of all the musical numbers. And then it ends in a very sad musical number that is a weird clash of tones. But
I mean, so that musical number was originally going to. So this is the Remember My Forgotten Man number, which is an amazing musical number. It's a beautiful song about basically a woman singing about my man went and fought in World War I, and now no one's taking care of him, and I need him, and you need to take care of him, so I can have him. And that was originally going to be in the middle of the movie because it's one of these old Broadway type musicals where it's about a Broadway show, and so the musical numbers are just productions for that show. They're not the characters singing about their true feelings in real life or anything like that.
Yeah.
And this was going to be in the middle of the movie, and they were like, Jesus, we can't come back from this. After this, there's no more movie. We can't go back to the story. So they placed it at the end. What I like about it is that this is a really frothy, kind of lighthearted movie throughout. It's set during the Depression, but it's really bubbly. It is about these three women. I mean, Aileen McMahon is my favorite of them. These three women who are just gonna gold dig their way through. And the way she reels in this rich guy who I think it's Guy Kivy who plays him. And they would be in a lot of movies together. But then to end that movie, this really frothy, bubbly movie with this very serious number, I think is a really powerful thing to do, but it's also just an amazing number. It's a really great movie. And Dan, if you like that one, have you ever seen the movie Dames?
No, but I went and I put that on my watch list right after this because I remember you talking about how much you love Dames.
Dames is like if Gold Diggers of 1933 was even sillier, and there's no Remember My Forgotten Man number. It's just a really goofy movie, but the musical numbers are really fun and it's a lot of the same ideas, and some of the same cast, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, I have my own recommendation, but I second Dan's recommendation because I love that movie, Gold Diggers 1933. I think it's great.
I'm also going to recommend an older movie. This is one I saw with Dan. It was called American Cyborg Steel Warrior.
Yeah.
This is the movie, one of the last releases from Canon Films. Is that correct?
I think it may have even been the last release.
May have even been the last. So it's one of those like Terminator knockoffs. It's about a woman who is escorting the last living or healthy fetus in America to a boat so the boat can take it to Europe so it can be raised in the Eden that is Europe in this weird post-apocalyptic
this
future.
This fetus is in a tube, by the way.
This fetus is in a tube. It's very much like
where else are you gonna keep
something
it?
from like a Hideo Kojima game. And it's like it always looks like it's smiling and giving thumbs up. It's awesome. And she is this woman is escorted and defended by this like long-haired, Jesus-looking warrior guy.
Yeah, before the movie started, Christina gave us the detail that he played Tarzan in 2 unrelated Tarzan projects.
Yeah, he has so much makeup on, and his like everything is so manicured. He looks like a Giga Chad meme. I love it so much. And he's fighting this nonstop killer cyborg who looks like kind of if they were like, we need to make a Rob Halford cyborg. Blonde, like balding, blonde, mustache, all leather, huge. It's great.
Yeah.
It's very, very silly. I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right, I'm going to have to hunt that down. I haven't seen that one. I'm going to recommend, speaking of, this relates to the question that we had earlier about movies that were kind of panned on their release and have received some appreciation later. And I recently watched the re-edited version of The Cotton Club, Francis Ford Coppola's movie, which when it came out, people were like, this movie does not work. And it was a huge financial failure. But years later, Francis Ford Coppola spent his own money. He loves spending money on his movies. He spent like $500,000 re-editing the movie.
God bless him for having the confidence in his own stuff.
I mean, he's not going to do it again. I don't think. I think Megalopolis has closed the door on his self-financing dreams again. But he re-edited it into a movie called The Cotton Club Encore, and that's available on Tubi right now. And it still doesn't totally work, but there's a lot of really good stuff in it. It's about the Cotton Club in Harlem and about the performers there. This was the club where it was all black performers, but black people were not allowed to attend the club. Only white people were. And it was run by gangsters because all the clubs were run by gangsters. And the movie is about the performers and the gangsters. Unfortunately, it spends more time on the gangsters who are kind of less interesting. And Francis Ford Coppola, I don't know if you guys know this, already made the definitive movie about gangsters. So I don't know that he needed to do more gangster stuff. There's some okay stuff in it, but the stuff with the performers is really good. There's a bunch of really great musical performances in it and dance performances. Gregory Hines is in it with his brother, Maurice Hines, and they do a number of dance routines that are really fantastic. And at the end of the movie, the world that's being created on stage and the real world outside the theater start to merge in a really fun way. And it's almost like the end of the movie, you're like, oh, they finally figured out what this movie should have been. They cracked it. But up until that point, there's still a lot of good stuff in it. And so I think it's an imperfect movie. It still doesn't fully, totally work, but it looks beautiful. The musical performances and the dance performances are great. And there's a lot of good scenes in it. So I'd recommend The Cotton Club Encore, which again, it's on Tubi right now. You don't even have to pay a dime to see this thing.
Not a dime. And brother, could you spare one?
I kept
thinking
living in the world of Gold Diggers 1933.
I kept thinking that was a song that they were going to play. I don't know why, but it turned out to be a more specific song about,
that wasn't the song.
Veterans.
So is that your note for the movie? Why didn't you do this song?
Yeah. I just wanted to...
But change it. Make it, can you spare a dame?
I just wanted to end our episode on a deflating note.
That's true. I mean, we're in the money. Gold Diggers 1933 is the one where, if you've ever seen the footage of Ginger Rogers singing "We're in the Money" in Pig Latin, she does a whole verse.
Okay.
Or if you've seen the silhouettes of naked ladies, because this is a pre-code movie. That's from the Pettin in the Park number.
Yeah, I mean
which also includes Billy Barty as a horny baby, essentially, who runs around and gets chased by roller skating police officers at one point.
He does this kind of this. It's either in Dames or Footlight Parade. There's a number called Honeymoon Hotel where a couple is getting into their hotel room to have sex, and then Billy Barty kind of like scrambles out from under the bed, and the husband throws an ashtray at him, and he runs away. Like Billy. Oh no, it's in Footlight Parade that he's a cat. There's a number where he's a little kitten, but there's a Billy Barty he was like a kid at the time, I think, or very young, and it's just like they just would throw him in there to just get into trouble,
Long career. He was like, I was like, man. He was in Willow, and he was in Gold Diggers of 1933. Well, with that appreciation of Billy Barty out of the way, our traditional way of course, ending the podcast, I'd like to say thank you to our network, Maximum Fun. Go to MaximumFun.org for other great podcasts of all kinds. And thank you to Alex Smith, our producer, who makes us sound good and also does his own wonderful creative stuff under the name Howell Doughty. Look him up on the internet. For this episode of The Flophouse, I have been Dan McCoy.
I'm Stuart Wellington.
I'm Elliot Kalin. Are we not doing the bit from earlier?
Can we trust him?
God, you guys got really cool all of a sudden.
You ready?
Yeah. Yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it. Let's do it live.
Who cares? Yeah.
All right. On this episode, we discuss Ella McCay.
Boy, do we ever. Guys, what was this movie about?
Yeesh.
Nooners?
Actually, I've got an idea. Hold on. I got another one. Okay.
On this episode, we discuss Ella McCay.
The movie that says, this is the story about a young woman who, hey, what's that over there? What? Maybe I'll talk about that. No, what's that thing? Hold on.
Maximum Fun.
A worker-owned network
Of artist-owned shows.
supported
Directly
by you.